Hello folks, good evening and thank you for joining me. It's a beautiful evening here in Pennsylvania. It's been a lovely day today, about 80 degrees, fantastic. Very warm spring we seem to be having. What am I doing? You know what I'm actually doing at the moment? Let me show you this. You see that there? You know what that is? That's wood ash out of my fireplace. Straight out of the fireplace. And as you can see, it's rough and it needs sieving, so that's what I'm actually doing at the moment. I'm actually in the process of putting this through an 80 mesh sieve till it comes out like this, all nice and fine. Let's just get the camera down here for a few minutes and we'll just talk about that briefly. Okay. So yeah, wood ash is a very versatile and a wonderful material for us as potters that we can use, and it's free for the taking, isn't it? Whether it's from a bonfire, whether it's from, like when I was in Spain, I used to get wood ash from the baker because he had a wood-fired bread oven. So I used to collect ash from him, or whether it's from your own fireplace. Also, wood ash varies from one wood to another. You get a different kind of effect. This particular mug that I'm drinking out of is made by my brother Johnny in England. I don't know if you can see. Now this is fired up to about cone 11, but you'll see on this side here it's got this mark. That's because wood ash was carried through the kiln and deposited itself on that side of the mug there and left that telltale blush. It's rather attractive, but it's not always easy to control how wood ash behaves exactly in a kiln. I'm just going to show you now. Really speaking, one should wear a mask, okay? I'm just mentioning this before I get told off. I should be wearing a mask, but I'm not going to be, because otherwise I can't talk to you intelligently, or intelligibly I should say. Also, the way I'm going to sieve this is going to minimize any risk of that wood ash, which is very light and floats on the air very easily. Anyway, I'm going to do it in such a way as to minimize the amount of dust. So by putting the sieve right on top of the bucket, and I'm going to use my hand in this case, although you could use a different implement to scrub the ash down through the sieve. I actually find just gently moving my hand pushes the ash through the sieve very well. In a lot of cases, if you use your common sense, you don't always need to use masks and things. I say that because, you know, when I'm doing something, maybe the wind is blowing in a certain direction and I can see the dust is being all taken away in that direction. So I can do it in such a way that I don't inhale that dust, because I see where it's going, you know. But really better to wear a mask, you know. For all you healthy people out there. So, now this wood ash, it doesn't, in what I'm doing here, this wood ash has not been washed. And one of the ways you can treat wood ash before you use it is to wash it. And that means to soak it in water and mix it around, let it settle, and then you pour off the water and you add fresh water, and then you mix it around again and you let it settle and maybe leave it a few days more, and then you pour that water off, and so on. And you might do this 3 or 4 times, changing the water, and by doing so you're washing the wood ash. What you're effectively doing is the soluble fluxes and things that are in the wood ash, they dissolve out into the water and then are removed, you see. So by doing that you effectively raise the melting point of your wood ash. Now this particular wood ash I've not done that to, so it's got all of the soluble fluxes and everything are still there intact in this wood ash. But that's partly because that's just the way I use it. One day maybe I'll get around to washing it. I've actually got to mix up a glaze. It's called a Nuka glaze, and it's a 33, 33 and 33% of wood ash, Custer feldspar and flint, and it gives you a kind of milky, creamy, runny type glaze, which I like to use in combination with temmaku. It's a glaze that's fairly new to me, and I'm playing around with it. But anyway, the wood ash in this case is a third of the recipe. As I said, it's 33 wood ash, 33 Custer feldspar and 33 flint. It's a nice simple glaze recipe, isn't it? Do you like simple glaze recipes, or are you a recipe-aholic? The more ingredients the better, huh? I tend to like recipes where the glaze is as simple and as natural and direct from nature as possible. Okay, enough said about that. You see what I'm doing? We're sieving the wood ash. Now you can do this yourself, but wear a mask. Okay, now just over here I've got a few pieces I wanted to show you. I've already showed you one, not my brother's mug. Over here I've got some other examples. Now let me just say, you know, that wood ash has been used for hundreds, if not thousands of years in some of the earliest kinds of high fire kilns in Korea, Japan and China. And you can either use the wood ash as an ingredient in the glaze. I'll just show you this one. You know this pot, I've shown it to you before, but this pot is actually glazed with a combination of wood ash and red clay. Just that, wood ash and red clay. And this was actually raw fired, in other words once fired. You can see the runny bits here, that's actually glass from here in this locality, from the iron furnace. Bits of glass that were bits of slag. You can find it all over around here in the ground, big lumps of it, this runny stuff. I think there was a bit down here actually somewhere, I saw. I'll show you a bit. I've got some in a bucket actually. I'll be quick. I'm showing you this because it's not ash, but it's something local and it's something out of the ground. And I just want you to see this? This is slag off of the top of the molten glass from our iron furnace. This used to be an iron furnace here. This is the Mount Etna iron furnace. You can find this all over the place around here. It's usually green, dark green in colour. So it's interesting stuff, isn't it? And we can, bit dusty, but this slag, if you crack it up and break it with a hammer, you get little pieces, which is what I did here. And then I put the pieces in these little niches I made in the top of the pot, and you see how it's melted and run down. It's rather nice, isn't it? Rather attractive. Anyway, what I'm really talking about is this mottled effect that you can see going on around here. That's just wood ash and red clay. Okay? Put those back. I'll just put that down there for now. Okay, so you can use the wood ash in combination. This is another bowl that I made. Now I'm not sure exactly the recipe of this, but it's got wood ash in it. And this is a very typical colour that you'll get from a wood ash type of glaze. To me, I find it very attractive and I like it. Alright, so this is one of the storage jars I made the other day. Now this is wood ash that is just sprayed directly onto the pot, and you can see the kind of effect that gives where the wood ash has landed, where I've sprayed it. It can enhance the colour, the natural colour of the clay body, you see, and give it a rather nice toasty look. Now this does, I have to say, work really best at cone 10 in reduction. So all of you out there who've got electric kilns, please don't write to me and ask me a load of questions. It doesn't work in an electric kiln as far as I know. Having said that, I've never tried it. So here you can see this small flan dish, again covered on the outside with that wood ash out of my fireplace. Aha. So your next question is, well, Simon, this is very interesting, but how do we apply this ash directly out of our fireplace? Well, that's what I'm going to show you right now. So, in fact, I've got some bowls here because I'm actually packing the kiln at the moment, and you can see there lined up. I've got some bowls that are ready to spray with wood ash. This same wood ash that we're talking about. So I use one of these old bottles, and it's got one of these atomizers. You need to get one of these atomizers. Okay. So into your bottle you need to put some of the wood ash that you've sieved. Okay. So I'm just going to spoon into here. All this is wood ash and water. You just have to put enough in so you get a good thick, don't ask me how much exactly because I can't tell you. It's called rule of thumb. Rule of thumb. So we're adding this wood ash into this little bottle, and then we're going to top it up there with some water. Now I'm thinking I need perhaps just to stir that. I'll get a chopstick. Hang on. Chopstick, where art thou? Okay. Here we have a chopstick. So let's clean him off. Alright, we're now going to give him a good old stir. So all this is wood ash that's been sieved, not washed, and water. Okay, put the lid on, take your atomizer, make sure it's not blocked. Right, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start spraying these. Now it's a little bit of a laborious job, okay, but okay, I've got to go along the board like this, giving it a spray from. I basically on each pot give it 4 sprays. And so on and so forth. Spraying on the wood ash. Okay, so from here the pots are taken and lifted and put directly into the kiln, fired up to cone 10, and the result will be that. They'll come out like that. Okay? What could be simpler? What could be nicer? The thing is, you see, many people, they're not used to the idea of leaving the outside of their pots unglazed. They, you know, because the clay by itself doesn't offer enough interest, so people tend to glaze all over, don't they, their pots. Well, this is a way of leaving the outside of your pots unglazed, okay, like this flan dish, but only treating the outside, but leaves the outside slightly rough, which can be actually quite nice for picking up because it's not quite so slippery, you see. And by putting on this wood ash, you're getting a nice toasty effect. It's rather nice. I like it. It's a bit of a hassle to spray on, and once you've sprayed it on, when you handle it, you have to be a little bit careful because you're going to be lifting it and putting it into the kiln. You don't want to smudge it or leave fingerprints all over it. It doesn't look so good then. So that's that. Well, on Monday we're going to be going off on a road trip for do some workshops, and but we'll be around, and go to my website simonleachpottery.com. Powwow, we'll be resuming Powwow around about the middle of May again, so join us for a Powwow. Today I was talking to Gabor in Sofia in Bulgaria. How about that? We're doing a live webcam pottery class, and he was on his wheel and I was on mine, and we were communicating in real time, real interaction, and of course he was about 7 or 8 hours ahead of me, but fantastic possibilities. So check out the Powwow if that's something that you think interests you. You'll need a webcam, good internet connection, and good lighting, but you can't manage it to get along to a workshop, it's a good way of getting some, meaning you don't have to do any travelling, don't have to spend gas in your car or anything. You can just be at home in your own studio. So I encourage you to give that a go, give it a try, see if you like it. We'll be posting the schedule for later on in May. We'll be posting it up soon sometime. Okay folks, all that needs to be said is keep practicing. See you soon. Bye bye.